Thanks, Janet. It's 3.5 years now since you did your work on me.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm going to give a little bit of a talk, which we usually do on the workshop. And I think I'll just give you a bit of background about myself before we get into that. So I was your average garden variety piscat for most of my life since varsity and working in the mining industry and then in financial services and investment banking. It's just a very work hard, play hard kind of environment. And I guess alcohol crept up on me. And, during my 30s and 40s, I thought it was quite easy to have a few weeks off or not worry about it too much. But as I got deep into my 40s, I realized that things were maybe a little bit out of control and it was more difficult to stop. And at the time of that realization, I was having some very serious health issues. I was very, very overweight, and I had adrenal fatigue, and I was in a bit of a mess hormonally, and general health condition was quite serious. So I've been on a bit of a health journey for the last 10 years, I guess. And I've been seeing quite an excellent doctor who used to take panels of blood tests every quarter and try and nurse me back to health. And then I was parking my car after attending a meeting at work, and I heard Janet on the radio, and that was the life-changing moment where I listened to this lady's story on the radio, and I thought, wow, that's me. And I made contact, and I've never looked back since, and so I guess the way the workshops are marketed is you can go to the workshop and learn to moderate or quit your habit. And I definitely arrived there to learn to moderate. And by the time I had left and slept on it, I decided to stop drinking. And that was it. I haven't relapsed. I haven't done anything silly in between then and now. And that's, 3.5 years ago. And then the little section we do in the workshop is called Recovery Rocks, which is just me telling you the sort of I've got a list of top 20 things that have happened in my life since I've stopped drinking. And the first one is, because it is quite a big decision when you decide you're not going to drink, is sober living is so much better than I thought possible. Every aspect of life improves. It's not just the no drinking and everything else becomes boring. Your life really changes for the better. The second one is it gets easier over time. The first few months are quite difficult because you've got new habits to learn and you've got to learn to deal with your new life. But once you've get past 6 months, you don't actually think about drinking anymore. So it's quite a remarkable change that your body is able to deal with, and your mind. That's where all the games are played. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling alive. I'm in control of my life. I'm not just getting on. It's not just a gray, after drinking lifestyle. And certainly, life is more real. And I guess that's the one thing, we tend to drink to numb things out. And what I found is once I stopped drinking, I actually had to deal with my shit, I guess, in a technical term. And dealing with that when you are in a much better frame of mind, I think is quite a nice experience. And so life isn't just all happiness all the time, it's ups and downs. But when you have the downs and you have the ups, you're able to appreciate them more for what they are, when you're not numbing them out. Number 5 is I'm much more observant. I see things that I would not have seen before. And I think it's just the fact that, you're not numbed out, you're paying attention to life as it goes. And you've got more time, and that's probably the biggest challenge people face is what to do with the extra time when you're not recovering from your hangover and planning the next drinking session or whatever. And what we found with the workshops is people are finding fantastic new pastimes, and a lot of them have become fitness freaks and all sorts of great things, taking up new hobbies and doing new stuff. And so with all that time, find something to do with it. I think that's really, really important. The biggest pleasure I've had is enjoying my new quality of sleep. I used to be waking up that sort of 2-3 o'clock in the morning, head pounding, really feeling unhealthy. Now I go to bed, and some mornings I'll wake up in the same position I went to bed, and it's as if I died for 8 hours. It is really a fantastic deep quality of sleep that you can look forward to if you don't drink. And it doesn't happen quickly for many people. Some people it takes some weeks or some months. I think for me it was about a good 2 months before I started getting into a better sleeping rhythm. But it hasn't, for the rest of the time, it hasn't changed. And then waking up feeling strong. You don't have any regrets. You don't have any, who did I text last night? What did I say to someone last night that I have to now apologize for? You just feel that it's much easier being accountable for your life because you haven't done anything really reckless or stupid the night before. That's really liberating. Then because of my weight issues I had over the years, I'm finding weight control much easier. So I used to look at a piece of cake and put on a kilo. Now I can have a few bad days of eating, and it doesn't really move the scale. So I guess my body controls the weight better now. And I think it's because it's not fighting and getting the toxins out of my system that it's able to cope with the weight better. This is often a favorite. Sober sex is much better, and you should try it. I think it's something to be savored and appreciated. And if you numbed out and drunk, well, you're certainly not going to have as much fun. And then for those who haven't been on a workshop, we give you a toolkit which kind of helps you deal with your new life. And, you pick a couple of those techniques that are really helpful. And what I've found over especially the first 6 months is I became comfortable applying the 1 or 2 tools that I picked for myself. And it almost becomes effortless where you don't even know you're doing it anymore, but you're just using your little tools and techniques to navigate challenging situations. Work performance, I certainly feel like I'm doing much better in work, and I think I'm much more positive about every aspect of my business, and business is doing well, even in this crazy time. And I think it's partly just about me being in better shape to do business. So that's been a really great win. And then the counterintuitive thought is I'm handling stress better now. And I always thought that the alcohol was helping me handle the stress. But what I've realized is that the alcohol was actually contributing to my stress. And the way that works is, as my doctors explained to me, is when your body deals with stress, it's not just external stress, the stress of your environment that it's dealing with. It's also internal chemical stress that your body's got to deal with. And your body doesn't distinguish between external and internal. It just adds them all up and it says your stress levels are very high. And so cutting back on or stopping drinking has actually completely changed my internal stress environment. And I think that's had a very positive impact on my health. One of the greatest benefits, and it's because I am guilty of many times driving home drunk, is now I'm looking for roadblocks when I'm driving around late at night, fetching my teenage son from a drinking binge. It is, and I've been stopped, I think 3 times now, and I've never been asked to blow. So anyway, it's really great and you actually realize when you look at the quality of driving after 9 or 10 at night on the roads, you realize, especially in South Africa, how many people are driving drunk. And then many people that come on the workshop, they often, when we're asking them, why do you want to stop drinking? One of the things that comes up quite often is they want to do it. They want to set an example for their children. And I must say, my kids have their whole approach to life and the way they see what I'm doing has changed completely. And I think in the first 6 months, they were wondering if this would stick. But now that it's been sustained for a long period of time, it's changed the conversations we have as a family. And it's been a phenomenal improvement in everything we do. And our family unit is actually operating far better now than it did in the past. And then the big one for me, that my health results have exceeded expectations. You know, when I first contacted Janet, I said to her, you know, but I'm exercising now. I've lost a whole lot of weight, and I was doing all these amazing things to try and improve my health. But every time I saw my doctor, every quarter, you know, she would look at the results and she'd go, yeah, you know, we're making some improvements. And then I hadn't told her, but I stopped drinking. And 3 months after that, I went for another set of blood tests and went to go and visit my doctor. And she just looked at it and she said, wow, what have you done? Everything has changed. I have to completely change how we're dealing with your health. And then I said to her, well, it's because I've stopped drinking. And she said, well, that's been probably the most remarkable change she's seen in someone happen in 3 months in terms of the way their blood panels are coming out. And I mean, I only see her once a year now just for a kind of maintenance. And she now uses words when she looks at my bloods to say, it's spectacular. So I'm in perfect health now. And I was in a shocking state before I stopped drinking. So, you know, for anyone who wants to get the best out of life, the best health intervention, in my view, is to stop drinking. Then we are obviously saving money because we're not pouring it into the local liquor store. And we've got a little app that you can count how much money you've saved by not drinking. And mine, I think I looked today, said 26,000 Rand. And I don't know where that money's gone, but anyway. And then I find in all relationships, whether it's friendships or business, I'm connecting better with people. You know, I think the quality of discussion you have with people just changes to a different level when it's not just a booze-fueled discussion, which tends to sort of spiral out of control late at night. So different, you know, you're bonding over more than just the booze. And then the other surprising one, the last one on my list, is I'm seeing a lot more colleagues at work being much more moderate and having alcohol-free days and things like that, which is really strange. And what I've realized in hindsight is that it seems I've been the instigator at work. I've been the guy that's always filling up the glasses of wine and causing all the nonsense. So just my behavior has even had an impact on our little company of 15 odd people. And then my parting shot is when I started this journey, and it was probably the first year, it seemed impossible for me to never have a glass of wine again. It was like a scary thought to actually think that. And at some moment on the journey, and I'm not sure when it was probably when Sue said this to me at one of our workshops, I realized it now has become impossible for me to have that glass. And it's quite an amazing thing that your brain can recalibrate to that extent that you don't even think about having a glass of wine again. So that's my story.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, that was great. So I'm going to stop recording now. Oh, we've got a few latecomers here. We've just got someone else coming. Let me let her in. So